So our topic today will be the female reproductive system, which mainly consists of the pair of ovaries, the glands, and the duct system. That maybe this is actually the supporting system where the main fertilization of the process takes place. So talking about the entire structure, if we go for the entire physiology of the human, the female reproductive system, then it will be comprising of the main gonad, which is the ovary, and inside the ovary it's actually the development of the of the ovum. It takes place in stepwise manner, and that process of production of ovum called the oogenesis, well, that will be discussed in a different video. Now that ovary, it's actually primary sex organ of the woman. Now they are located near the kidneys and the remain attached to the abdominal wall by a ligament called the mesovarium. Now, mesovarium is actually this wall, means it's actually the abdominal wall. It remains attached with where there is this mesovarium layer there present. You can see, yeah, it's shown this side. This yellowish color material that you see here is actually the one that is called the mesovarium, which connects it with the abdominal wall. Now, the free surface of the ovary is covered by the germinal epithelium, means interior of it. It's completely covered with germinal epithelium, and the interior part is what is called the peritoneum. Well, that will be discussed with the different video, and it is right there. We actually find that the development of the germinal cells, it actually takes place. Now talking about the fallopian tube, the fallopian tube is this like tube like structure you can see. Oh, I just forgot to mention one thing. It's actually this particular section, this particular layer. This is actually a ligament which connects it with the ovary itself. It's called the ovarian ligament. So ovary, remains connected with the uterus right there. And now talking about the fallopian tube now. So fallopian tube is this particular structure that you see. It actually it remains bound with the ovary. As you can see, it's like it's touching the ovary and it's covering it partially, right? So this structure, this finger-like projections, is what is known as fimbriae. They are just simply like the finger-like projections which cover the ovary, and it is right there in the in that particular fimbriae that the ovum is released from the ovary, and it is entering into the tube, fallopian tube. Now fallopian tube, this particular section where this finger-like projections it originate, this area is what is known as the infundibulum. Right after that, the turning it makes, this a turn that it actually makes, this part is what is known as the ampulla. After ampulla, we are going to find this long tube called the isthmus. And let me tell you, like in this particular section only, the junction point between this turn and the long tube called the ampulla and the isthmus is that particular point where the fertilization actually takes place. So that will be the structure of the fallopian tube, and it is actually quite near to the kidney, means this particular structure is quite lying near to the kidney. And it's actually the interior wall of it is completely covered with or lined with ciliated epithelium, because the development of the means zygote, and then after that the development of the means the embryo, the early embryo is actually, it has to be like it needs to be travel like pushed or travel, you can say, it down right here into this section. So for that particular movement, the ciliated epithelium is there as to assist that entire process. Now talking about means this structure, means actually this entire like structure, then we are going to find that this is the major area, the main portion, the one that covers the maximum part of the female reproductive system, you can say. And that structure is what is known as the uterus, or it is also goes by the name the womb. It is actually a structure, hollow muscular structure, pear shaped, and is the one present in the within the pelvic region of the female, right between the urinary bladder and the rectum. Means the urinary bladder is on the top portion and the rectum at the back, the dorsal side, and it is right there. We are going to find this urinary sorry, the uterus is present there, and it is suspended by mesentery. Means there is actually a layer of mesentery that is covering this entire thing, and it can be like segregated, or it can be divided into the following parts. The the fundus region on the top, the corpus body, which is the tapered region of the uterus of the body and the interior form of the uterine cavity, and this is called the cervix. This bottom portion, this cervix. The cervix is actually the entry point. It's a narrow portion which like enters into the vagina. You can say it's actually slightly entering towards the vaginal region, and it is right there where the like the seminal fluid they enter through that area, and then finally through this the sperm they start traveling upward and reach out towards either ovary, like whichever one is actually fertile at that particular moment. Um Now this cervical canal through like this particular area, cervical canal, it actually widens up at the time of the parturition, means the delivery of the child. Until that moment it actually remain nearly closed, and right at that particular moment it actually opens up, widens up, and then allow the baby to pass down. The wall of the uterus, now it will be composed of actually three layer. uh, Unfortunately I don't have a picture to show you at the moment, but fret not, because at the time of learning about the process of the gestation process, means the pregnancy and all, I will be discussing about the wall in detail at that time again. So just for the moment, for the understanding, keep in mind that the inner wall is what is known as the endometrium. The outer wall is what is known as the perimetrium, and the middle wall is what is known as the mesometrium. The myometrium. The myometrium is, as the name suggests, the myometrium, it actually means the layer which has got a large amount of muscles, and there will be smooth muscle present here. The endometrium is the inner surface. It's mainly made up of vascular mucosal lining, and is actually like squamous epithelium can be seen to be there present in large amount, and there actually the main formation of the placenta will take place. It will be discussed, as I mentioned, in a different, like when we're going to learn about the process of the pregnancy and all. That time I'll discuss about it in detail, like how it looks like, what kind of structure it forms right there in that particular place. Now yes, the entire uterine wall will be supplied with a large supply of blood. You can see right there the blood vessels are entering through the perimetrium layer into the myometrium, and it is required because the time the fetus is going to develop, it is this blood that will be responsible for the transfer of the nutrient towards the baby, is the developing fetus, and also the waste material removal of like from the removal of the waste material from the fetal fetal, the fetus, you can say, like directly. It actually is like going to be like it is going to be all entirely done by this particular blood vessel. So this blood vessel is essentially essential for the entire thing, and we are going to find that this is actually the entire structure of the reproductive organ of that of the female. So that will be the gist of the structure. Now next is actually the oogenesis process, that will be discussed in a separate video. I felt like it should be discussed in a separate video now.